insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. About half that work week in the rearview mirror. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos fired up. You are here with us. I have more to talk about than I have time today, quite frankly. We'll talk about LSU loading up at wide receiver. Two more since we've gone off the air yesterday. It's What If Wednesday. We'll get to that. I got to talk about this basketball game that we saw last night, which was a disaster due to Mario Davis and Cam Jordan to be back with the Saints next year. We'll get to that. JD Piquel with us talking CFP. Glenn West, Go 24/7, will be with us talking Tigers as well. Wasn't able to join us yesterday, so he'll jump aboard today. So lots and lots and lots to do. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So it all kind of hit the fan last night, didn't it? Not the LSU basketball team. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about football and specifically Damon Williams at Washington. What I have suggested to you quite a few times over the last 2 years, year and a half, is that collegiate athletics is getting more difficult to cover based on confidential information. It's pretty easy to cover professional sports. I know how many dollars and cents the Saints have to spend. I know how much they spend on their left tackle. I know how much they spend on their backup quarterback. I know how much they spend on the punter. I know how much they spend on the special teams guy who comes in and plays nickel when he needs to. I know all that stuff. And I know how much they have to spend. So I can analyze those things. I know when a guy's contract is up, when he's a free agent, when there's an option on his contract, when they can pick up that option or decline it. I know all that stuff. I know what it means when you draft a player and how many years you get to keep him under that contract and that he can't go play for another team until that contract. I know all these things. I know what the Cubs payroll was in 2025. I know what they spent on that player and that player. I know who's coming off the books, theoretically how much money that would allow them. I know all that kind of stuff. When I cover college athletics, it's very difficult for me to determine what's a good financial decision, what's a bad financial decision, because I don't know what the financial decision is based on what the amount of dollars are, where those are coming from. I don't know how sustainable those dollars are going to be coming in year over year. I don't know whether or not a player is going to be on his team 1 year or the next. It's very difficult. And it got even more muddy last night when Damon Williams tweeted out, hey, shout out Washington, been an awesome 2 years, I'm out of here. And then Washington said, probably not, boss. 4 days ago, signed a contract, said, can't leave. And the Big Ten said, oh yeah, we're on Washington's team here, you're not leaving. And I'll be really honest with you. I'm supposed to cover this situation because Damon Williams is closely linked to LSU. We'll get to that in a second. But I don't know what the contract Damon Williams signed says. I don't know exactly how much money Washington's offering. I don't know whether or not LSU has talked to him or his representation. I don't even really know if it's legal to talk to his representation. I think it probably is because that representation probably represents other players and you can have conversations. You can't talk to him, and I don't know if LSU has or not. And I don't know if the contract he signed can enforce him to be at Washington. And I don't know if the contract he signed can create damages that he's got to pay back or what the penalties might be. I know that the only precedent I could find on the internet was the cornerback from Wisconsin who signed a deal that included revenue share from Wisconsin, and he transferred to Miami. Wisconsin said, wait. You can't do that. You can't transfer to Miami. We already signed you to a contract. And he said, well, watch me. I'm going to Miami. And so the courts got involved. And Xavier Lucas, who is the player in this situation, is playing for Miami this year. They're in the college football semifinal, and the case is still pending while Miami motions to dismiss it. So, like, the legal system couldn't catch up to the season. What the heck does Miami care if they win the national championship and this guy becomes expendable? He's deemed ineligible. Like, I guess they could theoretically vacate the title. Is that going to drive anybody? I don't know. Again, that's the point. I don't know. And that's probably the problem here. Now, let me talk about LSU's side here with Damon Williams. Here's stuff I do know, okay? I know some stuff. Damon Williams is a 4-star recruit out of the state of Arizona, and he committed to Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. at Ole Miss. Really liked him, wanted him there. And then he decided to flip his commitment to Arizona, where Jedd Fisch was. And Ole Miss continued to recruit him. And then Kalen DeBoer, who's Washington's head coach, took the Alabama job, and Damon Williams followed Jedd Fisch, who got the Washington job after DeBoer. And that's where he went. And so that relationship has been established over the course of the last 5 years. So Williams goes to Washington, basically sits for a year. He started a couple games at the back end, and then he started this year at Washington, and he was great. Played in 13 games. He threw for 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, ran for 611 more yards, 6 touchdowns. Turn the tape on. You could be the top pro scout in the NFL and just Joe football fan. Turn his YouTube highlights on and you go, this dude's good. He's quick. He's fast. He's elusive. He makes big plays down the field. He's accurate. He's decisive. He's good. I would be willing to suggest he is in the top 10 quarterbacks in the country coming back to play next year. He's really good. And he said, hey, I want to go into the transfer portal. And so it's pretty easy to connect the dots here. Here are the dots. LSU needs a quarterback. They literally don't have one. I know that. Trinidad Chambliss makes a lot of sense for Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss. I know that. He's not coming. Okay. Sam Levitt came to LSU to visit. Actually, check that. We'll go back to Brendan Sorsby. He comes to LSU to visit. We know that LSU's interested. He goes to Texas Tech. Girlfriend's there, reported $5 million, gone. Sam Levitt comes to Baton Rouge. Spent 2 days here. Went to supper club, came back, more meetings, went to the basketball game last night. Now, all of a sudden, he's got a meeting with Tennessee that nobody thought was on the schedule. Well, what changed? Well, right about the same time Sam Levitt set that meeting with Tennessee, Damon Williams went in the portal. So I'm just connecting dots here. Makes a lot of sense that LSU would make a lot of sense. And I'll tell you from a fit perspective, this is incredibly enticing because this is a guy that would change the outlook for 2026 for LSU. They got a ton of work to do. They got to go get offensive linemen. They have none in the portal. They've got to go get defensive linemen. They've got one in the portal. They've got to fill a roster out that's lacking about 30 spots. Well, at this point, about 20 spots. You've got to install a system. You've got a lot of work to do in the spring. But if you brought on Damon Williams to be the quarterback of a Lane Kiffin offense with the wide receivers you've gotten over the last 3 days and the running back that you have coming back, and if you can put an offensive line together with the defensive structure that's in place with Blake Baker and all the players that we talked about yesterday, all of a sudden it looks pretty good on paper. But I can't sit here and tell you, like I could tell you yesterday, which I did, I thought Sam Levitt would be in LSU's class. I told you that yesterday. Seems like I was wrong. Not the first time, won't be the last. But I told you that yesterday because that process I understand. You file the paperwork, you get in the portal, you're eligible, take your visits, look at your NIL offers, look at your rev share offers, look at your playing time offers, make a pick. going on all over the country. I know how that works. I have no idea what the outcome of this is going to be, and I have not seen anyone definitively declare that they understand it right now on Twitter or in print. Ross Dellinger is reporting that there is language in the contract that Damon Williams signed that prevents him from going in the transfer portal. I don't know how enforceable that is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you without ever reading a single word of the contract or having a lot of precedent on this, whether or not I know what the result of that is going to be if there's a lawsuit. I have no idea. There's been some chatter. I've read a lot about this, but again, to me, it's all a lot of conjecture. There was a question whether or not you could determine what the money Washington was offering Damon Williams was for. Is the money to play quarterback? Is the money to represent yourself in commercials and on social media for the school? Is the money from third-party businesses that he can just forego the money and pull himself out of the I don't know. I've never seen the contract. And I don't know what the dollars and cents are for. When the New Orleans Saints sign a free agent, I know what they're paying him for. They're paying him to play football. Well, you're not supposed to pay to play. There's revenue sharing, which is new. But we just told you about the case where Wisconsin signed a deal that was for revenue sharing, and cornerback still went to Miami, played the whole year. So, to me, it's just muddy. All I can tell you, when I put a bow on Damon Williams for today, and the bow is not on Damon Williams because we got to see how this plays out, but for today's conversation, I can tell you two things. I have no idea how enforceable that contract is and whether or not it binds him to Washington, where he just claimed he didn't want to be. I have no idea. And if Damon Williams comes to LSU for 2026, it changes the dynamic of the LSU football team in 2026 because this dude can play quarterback. I just don't know whether or not he's able to do it. So I will sit back and wait. I will let attorneys go ahead and evaluate this whole thing. And it may be a situation like Wisconsin and Miami, where there's a motion to dismiss the case and the courts take forever to get to it. And Damon Williams comes down to Baton Rouge and goes through spring practice and takes his classes and goes through summer workouts and goes through fall camp, and he suits up and he's a quarterback against Clemson, even though Washington's still ticked off. Maybe it's easy and you look at the contract and say he can't leave. And maybe there's just no way to do that. But I just don't know. It is a wild, wild set of circumstances we have created in college football. And it's even worse in college football than it is in college basketball or college baseball. At least the calendars match up in college football and college baseball to a degree. Do I like the fact that 4 of the teams in Omaha are way behind the 8 ball when it comes to transfer portal recruiting? No, but they can still do it to an extent. This is a whole different kettle of fish. And it is a wild situation. It feels a little icky, feels a little gross. If Damon Williams is the quarterback at LSU, that's a positive for LSU. I just don't know quite how I feel about it. Probably to address that later on in the week. But that's how we're going to start today. That's the stuff I don't get. I get this. LSU's loading up at wide receiver. Let's discuss it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I get Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, too. Right now, it's gorgeous weather to go play golf in Baton Rouge. You're talking about 70s in January, but it's not always the case. Those temperatures are going to crash this weekend, and sometimes it's chilly, it gets dark early. If you're trying to work on your golf game in an unpredictable time of year like this, go to Swing Easy Golf Club. Turn on that driving range setting. Got incredible technology in there at Swing Easy Golf Club. You can see where your club's impacting the golf ball. You can see the trajectory of the ball. You can see your ball speed, carry distance, total distance. All those things that can help you hone your game, whether you're a scratch player or you're somebody who's just picking up the game and just wants a place to go practice. Climate controlled, personalized bay. You don't have to deal with a bunch of other people. Great technology, cold beer if you want one, television, music. It's an awesome place to go. So go see them on Siegen at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. You can find them online, swingeasygcbr.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Renaissance Homes and Pools. One of those January days, you could go to the pool. You could do that today, but you can't if you don't have one. I don't think there will be a lot of people at the pool today, but it's going to be like 80, so you theoretically could. But if you're looking to make sure that you can get into the pool of your dreams by the time it does heat up around here for good, call the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools. My guy Joey Blanchard is awesome. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com, but I give you Joey's cell phone number every week. He's the owner of the company. That's who you deal with when you deal with Renaissance Homes and Pools. 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. Make that phone call today if you'd like to have a conversation about getting yourself into a pool for the summer to come. All right, let's talk LSU in the transfer portal. Obviously, the offense had to have a complete overhaul. No question about it. And they're on their way to doing that. It's a slow process, and they absolutely have to get quarterback and offensive line figured out, and they have not yet. So that's the biggest two issues. But they have to get the skill positions right as well, because you've lost everyone from your wide receiving core and almost everyone from your running back core. Like, the guys gone from the wide receiver core. You're out Xavier Thomas. You're out Aaron Anderson. You're out Chris Hilton. You're out Barryon Brown. Kyle Parker left. Like, you're essentially left with Nick Anderson and not much else. Got some guys that were on the team this past year, like Teron Francis left. You got Phillip Wright here. You signed 3 guys in the freshman class, but you need proven dudes at wide receiver. And they've done that. They have addressed this, I believe, excellently. It doesn't matter if you can't get the quarterback and the wide receiver right, but this is one step at a time. And so we've talked about two of the guys that they brought in. Trey Brown, who was between Ohio State and LSU. They nabbed him from Old Dominion, 6'2", 180 pounds, big numbers in terms of yards per catch, guy that is very, very talented. Then Jackson Harris, who also had huge yard per catch numbers at Hawaii, 6'3", two big body guys that have made big plays down the field at the lower level. You hope that translates right up to the higher level. Now, two guys that have done it at a higher level are the two guys I want to talk about today that you add in to this foursome that you've brought in at wide receiver. Jace Brown is where it starts at Kansas State. And this guy has been massively productive. You're talking about a guy in Jace Brown that set the Kansas State sophomore receiving record over 850 yards. That was the fastest Kansas State player to 1,000 yards receiving in the history of the school. That is 6'1", has game-breaking speed. He had a 75-yard touchdown run this year. He is really, really good. And I follow a couple of Kansas State beat writers from the games LSU has played against Kansas State over the years. LSU has played Kansas State in basketball the last couple of years. LSU has played Kansas State in the bowl game where Jontre Kirkland played quarterback. And so I've had guests on the show, and I follow those guys on Twitter. And I went back and looked what they had to say about Jace Brown when he decided to go in the portal. And it's very clear how much the people in Manhattan think of Jace Brown. They think he is a dynamic and exceptional player. And I expect that he will be that in the SEC, just like he was in the Big 12. So huge get there. And then you take a guy with big upside, but injury history in Eugene Trey Wilson from Florida. Trey Wilson was a 5-star in the 2023 class. He came in and immediately had an impact at Florida. He went over 1,000 yards. He was a freshman All-American and showed why he was thought of so highly coming out of Tampa. And then he kept getting hurt. And he had high ankle sprain this past year. And then 2 years ago, he was dealing with different injury. There was a collarbone bruise and had a knee surgery that he had. It wasn't an ACL, but a knee surgery. And so he's just been banged up. He played 4 games 2 years ago. He played 8 games this year. And injury is a concern. But this is not a situation where you're bringing him in with the hopes that he's your everything. Like, not to make a timely comparison that doesn't feel very good, but like LSU lost De'Don Thomas for a time on the basketball court right now, and they don't have anybody to replace him. They played the second half last night with no point guard. If Trey Wilson gets hurt this year, like, you still have these other guys that you've brought in to make that a buffer. So it's not as if all of your eggs are in Trey Wilson's basket, but if it works, he is a dynamic playmaker in space. He and Jace Brown are a little bit smaller. Trey Wilson's 5'10", Jace Brown is 6'1", but you're talking about game breakers. And all 4 of these guys have been massively productive. And until I'm proven wrong, which could happen, but until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to trust Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss, George McDonald, Kevin Smith, this offensive staff that has churned out top 10 offense after top 10 offense after top 10 offense nationally. I'm going to trust their evaluation in the portal and their ability to use the skill sets they brought in. These are not 17-year-olds who have dominated lower-level high school competition, have gaudy highlight tapes. These are 20, 21-year-olds who have made big plays in college football. In Trey Wilson's case, in the SEC. In Jace Brown's case, in the Big 12. And then you've got guys that need to step up a notch, like Jackson Harris and Trey Brown. But, I mean, all I need to see on Trey Brown is that Ohio State was interested. Have you seen the wide receivers they put through? Have you seen that? Jackson Harris, great physical size. Home run threat at Hawaii. I know he's big and I know he's fast. And I just trust Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. and these guys to coach these guys up. LSU brought in a monster portal haul at wide receiver last year. Barryon Brown, Nick Anderson. Go get Destin Hill from Florida State, who was part of that. You already had Xavion Thomas from Mississippi State. You had Aaron Anderson. You added Bauer Sharp as a pass catcher. And you felt like with what you had coming back with Parker and Hilton and all those guys, this was a great collection of talent. And it turned out LSU couldn't throw the ball. I don't know if that was because LSU mismanaged the transfer portal as far as the wide receivers go. I think it's because you couldn't block, You didn't try to throw the ball down the field. The scheme was bad, and you had shoddy quarterback play between two guys, one who was hurt and one who was a backup. So I'm not out on going to get portal wide receivers. And they don't have to be from Ohio State, Miami, and Texas for me to think, okay, this is a good hit. These guys have been massively productive, have very intriguing skill sets, and I think LSU has immediately addressed pass catching. And when you add Trey'Dez Green to this group, and you start to look at, you've heard that saying that you want your pass catchers to look like a basketball team. I've got Trey'Dez Green at 6'7". I've got Jackson Harris at 6'3". I've got Trey Brown at 6'2". That's kind of my length and size. Then you've got Jace Brown, who comes in at 6'1", Trey Wilson at 5'10", and then you look at what you bring back, and Nick Anderson is 6'3", and Phillip Wright is a speed demon. I asked Jake Flint, the strength coach on LSU's team last year, if he had a 4x100 relay team, what would the four guys be? And I knew that he would have Jelani Watkins on it because he ran track, and Chris Hilton was the guy he said was the fastest on the team, and he put Barryon Brown on there, but the fourth name he gave me was Phillip Wright. So you've got speed, track speed, you've got 6'3" size, 6'7" size, you've got guys that have won in the slot, guys who are run after the catch guys. This is what it should look like from a pass catcher's perspective. And obviously, if there's someone who goes in the portal that is a game changer, you take a look at that. Like LSU was okay at safety last year before A.J. Halsey came in because you felt like Tamarcus Cooley and Deshaun Spears could probably play safety for LSU. But A.J. Halsey went in the portal and you went, oh, well, I'll take that guy. If there's somebody that comes along in that vein at wide receiver, maybe Winston Watkins at Ole Miss. I don't know how many of the Ole Miss guys are headed this way or not, but Winston Watkins has been a guy that's been rumored. Will you take Winston Watkins? Because Winston Watkins has had an incredible freshman season for Ole Miss. He's been dynamic. They've used him in multiple ways, and he currently has 370 yards receiving and another chunk plays on the ground as well. Like, that's a guy, okay, I'll take a look at. But you've done a great job addressing pass catcher. And again, like I said at the top, if you don't get offensive line and quarterback figured out, it doesn't matter at all. Kind of like this past year for LSU. But this is a promising development for LSU to have added immediately 4 impact receivers to go with what you've got on your roster currently. Well, it isn't a lot, but there's some talent there. I think it's been a great job by them at wide receiver. Now, go get some big guys. That's got to happen ASAP. All right, chugging along here on a Wednesday edition of the Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. It's What If Wednesday. By E4 Chat. We're counting on you. Give us some in the chat here when we're in break. We'll come back and do some What If Wednesday next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. How about a brand new Chevy Silverado, huh? How about a brand new Chevy Tahoe? They got them. Huge inventory of new and pre-owned at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Maybe you're looking for a GMC. Denali's are hot. Certainly Yukons are hot as well. Looking for an SUV? They got you covered there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Under new ownership since October. But the Fabry family's not new at all. Been here for 35 years. You know them. You trust them. You've had great customer experience there. Great customer service. And they've got a great service department there as well that'll service all makes in that service department. So go see him, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com. It's Chevrolets, it's GMCs, it's Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's FabryChevrolet.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Shout out to Marucci here in Baton Rouge. Check out the website, maruccisports.com. You want to go see a tour of where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball? They turn out 1,200 a day. That'd be something you'd be interested in seeing. You can do that over at Marucci. Go to maruccisports.com. Click on Campus Tour. You can go as an individual. You can go as a family. You can book a full group. Bring a team. Baseball team, softball team. They're about to start up. You want to do something to kind of get the team bonding, get the season off to a great start. Book a team tour over there at Marucci. You can also get a class tour. If you're a teacher listening, I don't know why you would be listening at 1:30. Maybe you're a parent. You can go petition this to a teacher. It'd be a great learning experience for the kids to go see where they make all these bats. Right here in Baton Rouge is the official bat of Major League Baseball, just 22 years after they've started things up in a backyard shed here in the capital city. What a gem here in Baton Rouge. It is Marucci. Check them out and go schedule a tour at maruccisports.com. All right, still plenty to do here. I got to talk about the basketball team in 15 minutes. Glenn West's going to be here in 45 minutes. 45 minutes from now, it'll be J.D. Piquel talking college football playoff. Glenn will be with us an hour from now talking a little transfer portal. He's a senior writer at Go 24/7, usually with us on Tuesdays, but bumped him back a day this week. So still lots and lots and lots to do. But right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, we're going to start the first one off from Twitter. So, what if we would have hired McMillan to bring Buckyball to BTR this season?
Did you see the game last night?
No, but I definitely came and told you about it.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about A&M and Auburn.
Oh, no.
So Auburn falls behind big
Okay.
Crawls all the way back. 0.6 seconds left. Auburn down 2. 0.6 seconds.
That's hard
They
to get a shot.
inbound the ball, chuck it from 35 feet.
Wow.
Splash.
Splash.
Buzzer beater, win for Auburn. Go to replay. Fingertips still on the ball, wave it off.
No.
Auburn's throwing stuff at the refs. There's a video of a 60-year-old man in Auburn clothes as the officials come off the court. He turns his back to the officials as they're coming and then dumps his drink backwards. He missed. He was late. So I don't know if there'll be any repercussions because it didn't get anybody wet, but it was really stupid looking. But that was a long diatribe to talk about buckyball. A&M is 2-0 in the league. They beat LSU, went to Auburn and won on a fake buzzer beater that got wiped off. But they have a style. They have an MO. They press. They shoot a lot of threes. They play really fast. LSU's a hard job. I don't know how that would do, but I'm not super keen on talking about other coaches right now on January 7th. I'm going to talk about the basketball team in 8 minutes, and I promise you I'm going to lay out what I feel about it. But I don't want to do that necessarily in what ifs right this second.
All right, so what if Ole Miss tampering claims are true?
I don't know the punishment for tampering.
But it's like, how can we have that when we just seen Carius Kern go to Ole Miss?
Well, here's the deal. And it doesn't prohibit players from transferring here and there. It's just a question of, did you talk to them before they went in the portal?
Okay.
If you are stupid enough right now in 2025/2026 to get caught with some sort of phone call, email, text message, Twitter DM, Instagram DM, tampering before someone goes in the portal, if you are dumb enough to do that, you deserve to get caught. Like, Will Wade was way too brazen with what he was doing when he was doing it. And that wasn't tampering, that was just high school recruiting. But it would be difficult to suggest that the FBI was going to tap phones. Certainly possible, but difficult to forecast. So while I don't give him a complete pass for it, I see where he's coming from. In this era, knowing what Lane Kiffin knew, that he was going to LSU, and that if he got caught doing that, then everyone's a clown. Like, you can't do that. So if they are true, it's very poor effort, and they're proven it's a very poor effort for LSU.
And I just feel like, what exactly is tampering in this day and age of transfer portal?
Talking to a player who's not in the portal yet.
Man, we didn't see this happen. So we didn't see it. Player jumps into the portal, no contact tag.
Of course, you can talk to their rep.
Okay,
can't talk to them.
Okay, so exactly player contact. Okay, okay. So what if Lane Kiffin goes 8-4 this season?
Man, we're brimming with positivity on What If Wednesday today. We're pulling these from the Value 4 chat and Twitter. This is not going to be a popular opinion. I'm not pinning the entire Lane Kiffin era on his first season. Like, I'm just not. He's got time to do what he needs to do to win in Baton Rouge. My expectation is not that Lane Kiffin is in the Final Four this coming year with LSU because he got there, quote unquote, with Ole Miss this past year. Like, I'm not saying that he's got to go 11-1 in year one. I've seen the schedule. I know what the roster looked like 5 days ago. If he gets you to 11-1, it's a miracle act. I think he can field a good team. I told you in the first segment, if they get this quarterback from Washington, Damon Williams, then I think that changes the course of the season. I like where the defense sits with the personnel. Like, there's possibility there. But if he goes 8-4, I'm not going to want to burn football ops down. Like, I don't have that kind of expectation. That maybe put me in the minority. And I clearly, I don't even know what their team looks like now. So we got to see the next 20 guys they bring in. But people will be ticked off if they go 8-4. I just probably won't be one of them.
No, Hunt, I have the same take with you with that. You can't base it all on year one. We got to at least get a couple cycles of his players in the building. So no, if he goes 8-4 year one, it's a L of a season, but it's not the end all be all in the whole Lane Kiffin ordeal. So no, I definitely agree with you on that one. So what if Charlie Weiss Jr. didn't coach the UGA game? Will Ole Miss still have won?
I don't think so. And I don't say that with complete confidence. I don't know whether or not Joe Judge would be good at calling plays in that offense or not, and I don't know if he would be the one they would pick to do it. I don't know, but it just having your offensive coordinator there to call plays, even though Lane's not there and he's the top of the totem pole in the offense, having your play caller there really satiates that a little bit. Like, it lessens that blow. And so I think just taking the complete brain trust out of the offense would have cost them that game, yes.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Charlie Weiss and Trinidad are they're basically two peas in a pod at this point because he had Trinidad. Well, that's kind of Trinidad his own doing. So what if LSU baseball wins back-to-back national championships?
That's more positive. I like that. I'll have to spend 2 more weeks in Omaha, which I'll sign up for. If he wins a third in 4 years, I will very, very much legitimize the Burtman conversation. Everyone wanted to have the Burtman conversation at the end of last June and last July, and I was like, wait a second.
Give it a break.
2 and 5 is not the same. 5 is one, 2 is the other. Like, it's not the same. You win 3 out of 4, you're about the same. Like, you're on the track to do that. And so that's what'll happen. It's not important, but I will personally legitimize the Burtman conversation. If you think it's already legitimate and you think I'm an idiot for suggesting it's not legitimate, then that's fine. But I personally will legitimize it if that happens.
Okay, so what if LSU doesn't get Levitt or Damon Williams? Who's our next target?
I'm not sure.
Neither.
Dylan Raiola, who's not been here, but I haven't seen like where he might be headed.
I mean, we know Lagway's good at throwing at LSU Tigers.
Yeah, he does. Hit 5 of them last year.
I'm about to say.
Apparently he's visiting Ole Miss.
Whoa, gosh. They are just, I hate them, man. I'm tired of talking about them. Just the thought of Ole Miss.
I'm really not sure. There are a lot of quarterbacks still in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
There are a lot. So
Pickens.
LSU will end up with a quarterback, but is it going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country or a guy who just plays quarterback because you have room? That remains to be seen, and I don't have the answer to that as far as what that target is right now.
So, yeah, that's all we have for What If Wednesday.
All right, let's look through the Bayou Ford chat and see if there are any more what ifs that we'd like to get to here. What if we get sued by everyone? I opened the show with that. I opened the show with that. I don't know what the answer is with that. All right, I think that's just about it for What If Wednesday. Not on talking us off the ledge. If you're talking about basketball, I don't know that I'm going to talk you off the ledge in the next segment. I've got to talk about the basketball team. I've got to talk about what we saw last night in the Maravich Center. Got to talk about it all. So I guess we'll take a little extra time here, and we'll do that to close out hour number 1 when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Love talking to Joey Landry. Joey Landry. I saved that a lot because I know Joey Landry. Joey Blanchard is the owner of Renaissance Homes and Pools because I love his hands-on approach to owning a local business. If you build a pool or an outdoor kitchen or both with Renaissance Homes and Pools, you're going to get Joey from start to finish. He'll be there for the consultation. He'll be there for the design and the layout. They've got incredible software that can design whatever it is you're looking for to scale. He'll be there when they dig. He'll be there when they fill that pool. He'll be there every step of the way, and you know you've got the owner involved. He's a local business. He's done it for dozens and dozens and dozens of people and families in the Baton Rouge area for years. So if you want to talk about a local company who's here, who's going to be there with you every step of the way during what would be a sizable investment for you and your family, Renaissance Homes and Pools is where you need to start. Go to builtbyrenaissance.com, reach out and contact him that way, or just call Joey's cell phone number. How's that? It's 225-252-7745. Again, that's 225-252-7745. It's Joey Blanchard. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
I know it's portal season. I know that is number one on everybody's list. And I know when I walk around in this city that whether it's January 7th, whether it's November 14th, whether it's June 3rd, like everybody wants to talk about baseball. And I love that. I really, really, really like watching LSU play basketball. And I understand that in my line of work, when I talk about basketball, it's not for the masses. People want to hear about the portal. They want to hear about football. They want to hear about baseball. And basketball gets put on the back burner. It's evident when you watch the games in the Maravich Center and there aren't many people there. And it's evident when I put stories up on LouisianaSports.net. And it's evidence when I talk about here. And I get it. And so I don't hammer home basketball content. When they are about to play a game, I talk about it. When they have played a game, I talk about it. And I don't harp on it. I mean, if you're in Lexington right now, you're getting nothing but basketball, I'm sure. If you're in Nashville right now, you're probably getting a lot of basketball because they're playing great. Right now, if you're in Auburn, Alabama, or College Station, Texas, there's a lot of basketball talk because of what happened last night. And I told you in talking about this basketball team yesterday that I was not going to call it a must-win because I hate when people misuse the term must-win. It was the second game of 18 league games. You were 12-1 in the non-conference, 12-2 overall going into that game. For me to sit here and call it a must-win would be flat-out incorrect. What I told you was you need to win this game. Because if you don't, it makes it difficult for me to realistically find you a path to relevance this season. Why? I told you yesterday that I think South Carolina is the worst team in the league. They might be, they might not be. They did some things last night that would indicate they very well might be. But that's a game on your home floor you must win. And LSU came out and allowed, yes, I said allowed, South Carolina to make its first 9 shots from the floor, including 6 threes. Now, I told you when SMU went nuts in the first half of that game making threes, sometimes your opponent gets hot, and SMU probably won't shoot it like that the rest of the season for a 5-8 minute stretch. And you know what? You lost that game. It's one non-conference game. You came back and won the game. That was Texas Tech, sorry. You won the game against Texas Tech. You came back and beat SMU. Great. But then it happened again against Prairie View, and you let them just get sizzling and didn't stop it. And then it just happened a third time. When you were allowing teams to go 6 out of 6 from 3, you're not guarding well enough. most of those shots were uncontested. The amount of straight line drives that I saw last night from a mediocre South Carolina basketball team was maddening. I told you yesterday, they're not terrible. I've seen terrible SEC basketball teams. South Carolina's not terrible. They're just not any good. They're a slow team that plays with a slow tempo. They've been the 15th ranked three-point shooting team in the SEC. You let them score 50 in the first half of a game you needed to win. 50 points. It's the most they've scored in any half against anybody all year. And all the while, LSU scored 25 in the first half, which was the fewest points they've scored in a half all year. You got down 28 points on your home floor by what one guy thinks is the worst team in the league. I know that they're missing De'Don Thomas. He's the best player on the team. It sucks that Jalen Reed got hurt. But if you can't go out there and execute a little bit better than falling behind by 28 points to South Carolina in the first half, you've got problems. Now, it was admirable that the team did what it needed to do to get back in that game. And trust me, they were in it. They were down 6 points with 6 minutes to go. That's in it. And they did that because they defended a little bit better and they rebounded and they didn't waste time shooting threes. They're not a great three-point shooting team. They attacked the basket and they did the things you need to do to get back in the game. But the fact of the matter is that that's like 10th on the list of things to pull from that game. If this were the first year of a team that had a bunch of freshmen out there and you had the old rules where you were going to grow this team together, it'd be one thing. Look, they fought. They scrapped. They showed some pride. They came back. They executed. This is a group of mercenaries that you brought in because you had more money to spend and you spent it. And you played well in the non-conference. And your point guard wasn't there and your true freshman point guard was not ready to play against a sixth-year senior point guard. So you played the second half with no point guard and asked Rashad King to go out there and play point guard. But that's the point. It's so difficult for me to sit here on January the 7th, 2 SEC games in, and go, I just don't know if I see a path. But guys, girls, I just don't know if I see a path. I don't believe there is much of any shot they're going to Nashville to beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt might be the best team in the league. They're undefeated. I don't believe they're going to beat Kentucky. They could. Kentucky has not played great. De'Don Thomas might be back. Maybe they beat Missouri too. And at that point, maybe they're 2-3 in the league. And maybe this entire diatribe is wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen. And if you're not, the next 2 games are at Arkansas and at Florida, and I don't think you're winning either one of those. I think you're more likely to be 0-7 than 3-4. And if you're 0-7, this goose is cooked. They're not going to come back from 0-7. They're not going to go 8-3. They're not doing that. There's more basketball to be played, and y'all hear me suggesting this, that 0-7 is a possibility, that would be, that you don't have enough depth to offset one and then a second injury. You'll hear me saying this. I think they're decent. I still think that. They're not good on defense. They are good on offense. They still outclassed SMU and outclassed DePaul and outclassed a Southern Miss team that frickin' played with 2 teams in the SEC. They have some talent, and De'Don Thomas is going to come back at some point. But those 2 losses are gut punches, not only to this team, but to the program. And I know as I'm saying this, I'm fully aware, I'm completely self-aware, I promise. I know as I say this, those of you driving around are going, when are you talking about the portal? Are we done with this yet? I know that there are some people that literally changed the channel when I started talking about this. I know. But I do cover the team. And last night was a watershed moment for this program. And you can say, well, I knew this was the case 2 years ago. I knew this was the case last February. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But they did allocate a bigger budget and they put together a better team this year. I fully believe that. And I think they can play with a lot of teams in the league. But two of the teams they can play with, they just lost to, including one of the teams that's at the bottom of the barrel in your own building. And now you're going to have to step up in class. And if they come out swinging and win a couple of these games, I will come back and say, I jumped the gun. I have no issue ever doing that. Never have an issue saying, I was wrong, I jumped the gun, that was too knee-jerk of a reaction. But I think y'all have listened to me long enough to know that I rarely have a knee-jerk reaction. Rarely. I'm the one who's still giving this basketball program a shot. What more proof do you need that I don't have knee-jerk reactions? Last night put me over the edge. That was awful. Because Kentucky's the next home game, you may pull a little bit of a crowd there. But you're certainly not going to get a lot of passion there. I like watching LSU basketball play. I want to get back to the NCAA tournament. I want a relevant basketball team, and we haven't had one in quite a few years. Y'all are all aware of that. And it felt like last night chipped away at the foundation in a big way. Man, I hope I'm wrong. Man, I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think I am. There's your basketball talk for the day. We'll put that in the rearview mirror. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Missed any of the first hour, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU or the Hunt Palmer Show. When we come back, Saints, Cam Jordan and Mario Davis. We've seen the last of them. We'll talk about it. Plus, J.D. McKell and Glenn West in hour number 2 after Sports Center on 104.5.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team are awesome folks to work with. I got a DM on Twitter today, which I don't get a ton of. But Joey said, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the Highland Insurance Group. Heard about them on your show. Been with one carrier for years and wouldn't quote us on a policy for our new home. So we called the Highland. Even though they weren't the lowest quote, they went out of their way to make sure the coverage matched and the customer service was second to none. That's what you're going to get. They're pros, the Highland Insurance Group. I talk about commercial insurance all the time. I talk about captives all the time. I talk about benefits all the time, and they do all of those things. They also will handle some personal line stuff for you as well. It's a full-service insurance agency over there. It's an independent insurance agency that's able to shop, make sure that your coverage is right, that you're spending the right amount of money, no matter if it's a big commercial account that you've got control of, if you're an owner or CFO, or a homeowner and auto owner here in Louisiana. It's the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online at HighlandIG.com. That's HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online, or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Only one more day before the college football semifinals kick off with Miami taking on Ole Miss, a matchup of strength against strength. The Rebels keyed by an offense led by quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, averaged 496 yards, more than 37 points a game. The Hurricanes defense, of course, one of the best in the nation. Miami coach Mario Cristobal.
Well, I'll tell you what, watching all their games, obviously they're an excellent football team. They've got speed, power, explosiveness across the field. They certainly play with a tremendous edge this past week against Georgia and showed up big in the big moments.
Ole Miss Miami tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN. Ohio State star safety Caleb Downs declared for the upcoming NFL draft. He's projected as a top 10 pick in ESPN draft analyst Jordan Reed's current rankings. Alabama's Ty Simpson, skipping his senior year, turning pro, projected to be among the first quarterbacks selected. Baseball, Cubs finalizing a trade to acquire pitcher Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. He'd improve a Chicago rotation that includes Matthew Boyd, Jamison Tyone, and Shota Imanaga. Not clear yet what Miami's getting in return.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, Carson Beck is a 2-time national champion, but can he do enough to avoid being the reason that Miami loses? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show. This is a catastrophe. You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. Glenn West in half an hour talking Tigers in the portal. Talked to J.D. Piquel about the college football playoff. Gets underway tomorrow in the semifinals with Ole Miss and Miami. For now, let's talk Saints. Let's talk about two stalwarts of this franchise, two guys headed to the Saints Hall of Fame, two guys that will certainly get a lot of consideration for the Professional Football Hall of Fame. And two guys that may have played their last snap as a Saint. That's fair. May have. Certainly could retire. Certainly could explore other options. Certainly could be brought back to New Orleans. Of course, I'm talking about Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. Both guys will play at age 37 next year if they decide to play in the NFL. And I think the suggestion certainly that Cam Jordan said he got the green light to do so, and I would have no reason to believe Demario Davis would not. I did not know this. I had not paid enough attention, did not realize Demario Davis set a career high in tackles this year. So the question is, with the Saints, who are in a different position today than they were in January of last year, does it behoove them to bring Demario Davis and Cam Jordan back? It's a complicated thing. I will say this. In my time, in my experience, I don't believe in giving Lifetime Achievement Award contracts. Not to aging coaches who are past their prime, certainly not to aging players who are past their prime. The goal of athletics is to win. And sometimes that can hurt some feelings based on decisions that are made. And so take that into account as I tell you my thoughts on Cam Jordan and Demario Davis and to what they mean. Last year, it made all the sense in the world to have those guys here. You are bringing in a young coach who has never been a head coach. You're going to have to put together a staff, and put back together a locker room that broke under Dennis Allen last year. Fair to say? I think that's fair to say. Based on what we heard from players, what we saw on social media when Dennis Allen was removed from that building, it was a toxic place near the end. And so when you've got a guy coming in that's like if you bring in Sean Payton, whoever brings in John Harbaugh, you bring in an established coach with skins on the wall, he can set that culture. He knows what he's doing. That's a lot to ask of Kellen Moore. Now, he's got to do it. It's part of the job. But it helps to have veterans who know what a winner looks like, who know what the expectation is, who can take young players under their wing and set the standard in the building. And so having Demario Davis and Cam Jordan on this team this past year was a no-brainer. One, they're under contract. Two, you just want them around because you know you're not going to win anything. Let's just have these guys set the tone. Now, I'm looking at the Saints from an offseason perspective, and I'm going, okay, the expectation's now changed. The expectation for next year in the fan base, and I think in the front office as well, is to win the division. Win this division. Do you have the best quarterback in the division? Maybe. Can you upgrade your roster with another really strong draft? Maybe some shrewd free agent moves? Yes. Is this division there for the taking? Well, it darn sure has been for the last 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, I would say it is. So the expectations changed. So now it's less about making certain that you've got guys in there to establish a culture. Kellen Moore's had time to do that. Brandon Staley's had time to do that. Now it's about who helps us win at what cost. That's what this is about. And as I look at these two players who will play their year 37 seasons last year, I'm looking at a guy in Demario Davis who set a career best in tackles with 143. I wouldn't suggest it was the best year of his career. He had 64 solo tackles. He's been as high as 97 in his career. He wasn't a terror in terms of pass rush. He had half a sack this year. But he's still very productive. I look at Cam Jordan, who had a double-digit sack campaign. Cam Jordan had 10.5 sacks this year. He played in 17 games. Oh, by the way, Cam Jordan, let me go back on his games played. 17, 17, 17, 16, 16, 16, 16. It's 16 all the way back to his rookie year from there. And oh, by the way, that's 15 years. The durability is incredible. The leadership is incredible. And the production this year was excellent. So the answer to both of these questions, do I see value on the field, not in the locker room, on the field, from Demario Davis and Cam Jordan next year for the Saints? Yes, absolutely. Now, it's got to be at the right price. The Saints still aren't in a great cap situation. It's getting better, but it's not great. And we've talked about the fact that there is money to play with now because you've got a quarterback on a rookie deal. So this can't be outlandish, and I don't want to tie myself to a multi-year deal necessarily. Maybe they want that, but I don't know if I want to go that far, depending on the dollar amount. If it's front-loaded, okay. But on the field, yes. Demario Davis, middle linebacker, next year in the NFL, yes. He can play. Absolutely. He can play at above a league average level, I think. Father Time will eventually win that battle. He hasn't yet, and I'm okay bringing him back. And you look at Cam Jordan, and you do understand that you've got really good ends in Chase Young and Carl Granderson who can take the majority of the snaps and lighten his workload a little bit. Now, this year, Chase Young missed the first part of the season with injury, only played in 12 games, so Cam Jordan's snap count did get elevated, but you look at the total snaps that are available, like Demario Davis played 1,079 snaps this year. 1,079. Cam Jordan played 589, just over half. And Chase Young played 542, missing 5 games. So you're talking about lightening Cam Jordan's workload so that he doesn't have to play as much as he once did, and you can get the best out of him. You're not signing Cam Jordan to be your primary pass rusher. Chase Young's got that gig. You're not even signing him as necessarily your number 2. That's Carl Granderson's gig. You're signing him to an affordable deal that I think he would agree to. The man's made a lot of money. to come in and be a depth piece on your defensive line where you know you're going to need it. And I think that is absolutely an asset. It's one thing to pay a 37-year-old to be your number one wide receiver or your number one running back. It's one thing to pay a 37-year-old to be a safety for you or your left tackle. It's another to say, hey, I'd like you, the 37-year-old, to be my third end. And if you can get 10.5 sacks out of your third end, if you can get 8 sacks out of your third end, not to mention the incredible leadership that he provides, that's a great, great thing. So, unequivocally, I'm in on this. I know, y'all know that I didn't like the Kamara signing. I thought it was too many years, at too big an age, at a spot where the Saints needed to save some money. It had nothing to do with the way Alvin Kamara handled himself. He was nothing but extremely professional the entire time. He's been a model citizen. He's been a phenomenal player. He's going to the Saints Hall of Fame too. It had nothing to do with him as a person or how he handled himself. It was just as a player, I didn't like my number one running back being 30 years old and making that much money over that many years in that spot for the organization. This is not that. You guys are way older, but they're still productive, and they're at a position where on the roster and on the field, they're in position to succeed. And so for me, and it's always dependent on money, like free agency discussions, like it's not just, is the player good enough? It always gets tied back to the contract. These two guys are good enough to help the Saints make the playoffs on the field next year. Assuming they're at the right price, you get that contract in front of them, you get that deal done. I think both of them want to be in New Orleans. I think both of them want to be Saints. I think everyone in that organization is excited about the trajectory of the way things are going. And so I think this is going to get done. And I think that's a very, very good thing for New Orleans to have those two guys who are pillars on that team and really in that community to be back. Demario Davis graded an 80.3 for the year on PFF. It's just ridiculous at that age. Cam Jordan, 76.0. Run defense, 82. Pass rush was only 59.5, but he made it count because he got back there for 10.5 sacks. Fountain of youth for those two dudes. I hope they're back in New Orleans next year. All right, Jordan, you heard me talk about those guys before we get to J.D. Piquel. It's always about the money, but I'd imagine you want him back.
Yeah, I would like him back. You know, like you said, it's all about the money. You want it at the right price. I'm not looking here to give Cam or DeMario a 3-year deal, 2 years, not even 2 years. You said at 37. You know, come back for one last ride. We're going to be realistic now. Father Time will win eventually. This is not basketball. You're not quarterbacks, man. It's football. Yeah. Y'all are out there. Y'all gladiators. Your body's going to be put on the line, even though Cam Jordan and DeMario has a real crazy streak of, like, just playing games. So I think what they bring, like you said, on production and the locker room, you could bring them back for one more year. But other than that, I can't do a 3-year, not even 2, to be honest with you. I can't do that.
I just glanced at my screen. Demario Davis you want to guess what his run defense grade was on Pro Football Focus?
You said his pass was 80?
His defensive grade was 80.3 total.
Okay, total was 80. Man, it's probably, I heard over 65 is good anyways.
Yep.
So I'm going to say around 75.
88.9.
88.9. So he was beyond fantastic. I mean, if you give me 88.9, that type of production at 37 years old, conversations need to be had. But we have to maintain those conversations that we can't go overboard and give a 37-year-old Demario Davis a 3-year contract.
Yeah, he had 125 tackles and he missed 17. He missed one a week.
Yeah,
at middle linebacker.
And hey, look, Hunt, and you see what DeMario's doing. That's the reason why Zach Bond's not here no more.
Yep.
DeMarco Jackson with the Bears having a career resurgence. That was a special team guys for us. What he's doing, Anzalone up in Detroit. So DeMario has sat here and just outlived so many guys that you brought in to kind of take his job. So we'll see what Stutzman brings to, unless you get rid of Pete. But I can say DeMario will definitely be back next season for sure, and Cam, without a doubt.
Talk college football playoff. J.D. Piquel next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is where you can find them online. If you're looking for them in the community, you'll find them. These guys are born and raised in Baton Rouge. They care about the Baton Rouge community. I was taken aback by a story when I was talking to the folks at Lifetime about a tornado up there in Kentwood. And roofers oftentimes get super aggressive when a natural disaster happens. Want to get up there and sign as many people up as they can. That's not what Lifetime Roofing did. Lifetime Roofing went up there with chainsaws, got a food truck up there, and they went to work helping people because they care about the community. And they care about the people that they serve here in the state of Louisiana. Whether you're in New Orleans, the North Shore, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, they can help you over at Lifetime Roofing. It's not all the time you got to do a full roof repair. Some roofers will try to sell you that. It's not going to happen at Lifetime Roofing. Sometimes you just need a tune-up. Just do something to make sure that your roof is structurally sufficient. Sometimes you just need a little repair, and they're happy to do that too. And sometimes you do need a replacement, and Lifetime Roofing is happy to help you through that process as well. Maybe it's because of a natural incident and you got to go through your carrier. Maybe it's just because you're ready to get a new roof because you're selling your house and you need a new one, and they can help you through that process as well. It's just a great team of people. It's from the Baton Rouge area. They're local, they're here, and they're here to help. It's Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go?
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. It's portal season. It's college football playoff season. That means we've got to go to our guy, J.D. Pickell, host of The Hard Count on 3, wherever you find your sound. Certainly on YouTube, you can find him. You can also find him here on Wednesdays. J.D., how are we doing?
Brother, doing well. Not sure if you've signed any contracts that you may or may not be sticking to, but heard that you can't really enforce them these days. So anyways, hope you're doing well with that unrelated intro.
You want to try to take a swing at what's going on up there and what's going to happen. My show open today was like, I don't really know what to tell you about it. I don't know what the contract says. I don't know whether it's enforceable or not. I don't know whether Washington will even take him back because he said he didn't. Like, I don't know anything. Do you know anything?
I don't know anything. I will say that I have a couple of different gut feels. One is, if you're Washington, I don't know how you bring him back in your locker room and say this is your leader. Like, and this is not even to knock Damon Williams, but like, there's a report out from Pete Nakos saying that Washington expects him to be their quarterback in 2026, and I'm like, not an edge rusher. It's not a receiver. It's not a corner. Like, this is your freaking quarterback. And a guy who has openly said, I don't want to be here, you're going to put out there as the guy everyone's supposed to follow. So that doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a net negative if you bring him back. I understand some people saying, well, hey, JD, the precedent this sets is why Washington needs to do this. And I'm like, if I'm Washington, I don't owe college football anything. Like, I'm trying to win as many games as I can next year. Like, the precedent would be great for someone to set, but at the expense of our season, I don't know how I feel about that. So that's one part of this. The other part of this is, I don't know about you, Hunt, but I have a hard time believing that Damon Williams breaks a $4 million contract without talking to anybody about his ability to get out of that contract moving forward. Like, I understand this idea of, well, he got offered more money somewhere else, but I really don't think you get that whole Instagram, post together without at least checking with somebody, and somebody gives you the all clear of like, hey, they probably can't enforce this. Go ahead and do you, boo. So that's where I'm at on this. I don't think anybody knows what's going on, including Damon Williams and the Big Ten, but it's a thick plot, and we'll see what happens.
How good would he be in Lane Kiffin's offense?
It'd be fun, man. It'd be fun. Like, holy smokes. I mean, what he brings to the table would be fun. I will say this, too. I would probably go Sam Levitt before Damon Williams. What's going on there? Like, I was fully ready to jump in the studio and do a Sam Levitt commits to LSU video and react to that. A little bit curious that he didn't commit on the visit and now is going to Tennessee. But if you get Damon Williams, I think you feel pretty excited about him in that Lane Kiffin system. And to take it a step further, this is the weirdness of Lane Kiffin that we all signed up for in Baton Rouge in some respects. Like, you kind of just trust him with the quarterback position, let the chips fall where they may. If it's Damon Williams, if it's Sam Levitt, I don't think you're scoffing at either, needless to say.
All right, let's talk about some of the games we've seen in the CFP. Bama, not competitive. How are things in T-Town?
Things in T-Town in a vacuum right now are probably not great. I think it's pretty obvious where you need to get better on the line of scrimmage. I don't know what the response was in Baton Rouge, but I think the idea that Kalen DeBoer is not the right guy at Alabama is a pretty hasty take. While it's below standard and it's not what you're used to in Tuscaloosa, like, the guy did make the college football playoff his second year there, play for an SEC championship, all with massive holes in the roster. So I understand the idea that it's not good enough, and I think he knows that. But I think if we're judging him by the Saban measurement, I think that's always going to be something you're chasing. Because, I mean, college football now, Hunt, you know this as well as anybody, has it ever been harder to win a national championship where you got to go win 3 or 4 games to go be crowned the top dog? Like, Saban was doing it when it was 1 game and 2 games to be a national championship in the BCS and the 14 playoff model. So he's not Saban. He's never going to be Saban, but I do think it's a bit hasty to say he's not the right guy at Alabama.
If you're looking for a dose of perspective in Tuscaloosa, you'll be looking until they put you in the ground. They're just not going to be any ever, and that's just the way it's going to be. The guy after Saban never had a chance, and I don't think DeBoer has a chance. We'll see how it goes. The teams that have a chance are Miami, Ole Miss, Indiana, and Oregon. So let's get to that tomorrow in Glendale. It'll be the Hurricanes and the Rebs. I simply cannot have Ole Miss in the national championship game. That's not an acceptable outcome for me. So I need you to help me out with that one.
So my thing is, Trinidad Chambliss was just so magic against Georgia.
Yep.
It's impossible to rule out the possibility he just does that again. And Miami wins the line of scrimmage, and Miami gets after him all night long, but he just does the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, breaks contained, someone's down there somewhere, Trinidad magic is on and popping, and that's how they get the national title game. My thing is, I don't know that we can point to a team since 2019 that won a national championship and wasn't the toughest team, like, physically in college football. And even 2019, those numbers are skewed because you had the massive outlier of, like, arguably one of the best seasons of all time offensively. So, like, that's tricky to square. I think that Miami's secondary is a good bit better than Georgia's, which when Trinidad breaks contain and does what he does, there's going to be a lot more competitive plays for the football in the air, which will make a difference. And, you take a step further, I think there's going to create some hesitation with how those guys are covered downfield, which giving hesitation to your quarterback when you got Bain and Mesidor chasing you, not a good vibe. So I think it's more of the same for Miami. I think they're the boy on the block, and I think they beat Ole Miss in the Fiesta.
So I know what I know about Miami is their defensive line is phenomenal, and they've got a quarterback who's talented and makes some questionable decisions. Should they bully Ole Miss with their offensive line and running game? I mean, that's when we studied Ole Miss all year, making picks, and then certainly the LSU game was like, yeah, they give up a lot on the ground. Like, is that something that you expect Miami to win as well?
Oh, 100%. And it was something Georgia won too.
Yeah.
Like, literally everything that we thought going into that Georgia game happened, short of the secondary showing up and being better, and short of Trinidad Chambliss just pulling multiple rabbits out of multiple different hats. So I think that seeing what Georgia did, if I'm Miami, has me licking my chops. And also the fact that Trinidad Chambliss, as special as he was, that is on the forefront of every individual in Coral Gables' mind going into this game. Like, it'd be one thing if it happened in September, and it's like, hey, remember this? He did this one time. This could happen. It's like, no. Trinidad Chambliss is going to create plays off script. Like, you are drilling that all week long in that building in Miami. And so for those reasons, I don't think that you get to sneak up on this Miami team maybe the way that you would like to, and maybe need to win this football game.
You like Miami to cover 3.5?
I like Miami to cover the 3.5. I would probably lean towards yes. I think on the show I might have picked Miami by a field goal, but as we get closer to it, I'm like, yeah, I probably like the Canes to cover that number, just given the more I sit with the physicality of Miami. I think that's it's too tough for me to bet against in this spot. So yeah, I'll take Miami to win the cover.
All right, we've seen this one before. It's Indiana and Oregon. Did that one in Autzen. Now this one will be elsewhere. What you think about it?
I just think we're all totally dismissing how much better Oregon's gotten since the first time they played. Like, that was Dante Moore's sixth start in this offense last time they played. Now, granted, at home, still had enough under his belt to where you can expect more from him, but I can't shake what I saw against Texas Tech, where Texas Tech rushed him still pretty effectively and got him on the ground a few times, and we never saw Dante Moore have that internal clock speed up. Like, he still made good decisions. He was still composed. He had one play where the zone coverage got him, just missed the linebacker there. But for the most part, I think Dante Moore's growth against the pass rush is going to be a huge component of this game. Remember last time they played, got sacked 6 times, threw 2 picks, just looked a little bit discombobulated. I think we see him much more poised, and I think that's the difference in this game. I think Indiana's sensational. I think they deserve all the credit in the world. I think that people get intoxicated with them being, a basketball logo they're familiar with. I just think that Oregon is going to be too tough to beat twice, and I think that Dante Moore and the perimeter players end up being the difference in this one.
If I gave you a free ticket, which game would you go to?
So I'm going to be at the Peach Bowl on Friday, which would be awesome. We're going to make the trip down to Atlanta, quick little drive here from Nashville. But so I guess if I'm going to that one, it'd be the Fiesta. But even just seeing Miami in person would be appealing to me. And the backdrop of the Fiesta Bowl, Miami and Ole Miss, with all the juice around it, that'd be a tough one to pass up. So I'll go with that one.
If Ole Miss beats Miami, I'm going to blame you, okay? Because you've told me it's not going to happen.
No, please do. Please do.
All right, well, enjoy Atlanta. We'll talk next week. Thanks, JD.
Appreciate you. Have a great one, man.
JD Pickell, host of The Hard Count on 3 Sports, college football content, wherever you find your sound, certainly on YouTube as well, on Twitter as well at JD Pickell. He's with us every single Wednesday. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Step aside, come back with Glenn West talking LSU in the transfer portal. May touch on basketball as well. We'll do that when we come back with Glenn.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You're thinking, Fabry? I know that Fabry Chevrolet. Yeah, it's new. New ownership. As of October the 1st, Fabry family took over there on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. But they've been in the community 35 years. So when you deal with the Fabry family, you're going to get incredible customer service. It's going to be a great buying experience. They're going to have an incredible inventory, which they do. You can see the entire inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. SUVs are hot right now. Tahoes, Sierras, Yukons, Denali's. They got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. It's just a quick drive up there in St. Francisville, Highway 61. Go see it. You can see it all at FaboryChevrolet.com. Always want to remind you as well, they service all makes in the service department. So no matter what you're looking for as far as service goes, they can help you out with that. If you're in St. Francisville or in the area of St. Francisville, you can go by and see them on Highway 61. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. All your Chevrolet needs, all your GMC needs, all in one spot. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Online at FaboryChevrolet.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. Let's talk some football transfer portal with Glenn West of Go 24/7. Usually it's on Tuesdays, made some time for us today. But before we get to the portal, let's just touch briefly on what we saw in the PMAC last night. Glenn was there, and just a really, really bad loss. Glenn, what did you see in the Assembly Center last night?
Yeah, it was an awful first half, one of the worst first halves, probably of the entire Matt McMahon era. Just really disappointing to see. I mean, even, down DJ Thomas, there was no excuse for getting down 30 at home to a South Carolina team that is probably going to struggle this year in conference play as well. They fought back in the second half. They made it interesting. I think they got it down to 6 points at one point, but they just were completely outclassed in the first half. South Carolina comes out and makes its first 9 shots. They make their first 6 threes I look up with 12 minutes left in the first half, and they're shooting still 100% from the field and the free throw line. I mean, it was just an awful, awful defensive display, and that's something that losing DJ Thomas shouldn't affect. Like, I mean, losing DJ Thomas offensively, yes, okay, I could see where you could maybe struggle and kind of maybe limp your way to a win. The defensive thing yesterday was completely inexcusable. They're now 0-2 in conference play. The schedule's only going to get tougher from here. They need DJ Thomas back very, very quickly to have any kind of chance of rectifying this thing and not getting too far behind the 8 ball. But they have to have other guys step up. I mean, Max McKinnon has played all right in these first couple SEC games. It's been very underwhelming for guys like Markel Sutton and last night Michael Nwoko. I mean, these are big-time guys that you signed out of the transfer portal that just have to perform better for you over the next several weeks and months to have any kind of shot at rectifying this start to conference play.
I'll head to Nashville on Saturday to take on an undefeated Vanderbilt team. All right, Glenn, let's talk football. Let's talk transfer portal. Let's talk quarterback. Obviously, that's the biggest storyline. 2 have come and gone from Baton Rouge. One's trying to break a contract in Seattle. What's your read on the quarterback situation for Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr.?
Yeah, it's messy. I mean, like, that's just the only words that I can come up with over the last 24 hours. I mean, it looked like it was kind of following a certain blueprint. It sounded, at least in the days leading up to, and even during Sam Levitt's visit, all you kept hearing and in terms of what people I talked to just kept saying was that, Levitt was just, Lane Kiffin's guy. He was somebody in the portal that they were really attracted to, probably even a little more so than Brendan Sorsby. That was a common theme that you heard, and it sounded like going into Tuesday that like this was going to kind of work out, and that the stars were going to align. And then we're sitting there at the basketball game, and they walk in for about 10 minutes of the second half there, and then they walk back out. It was him. It was Sam Levitt. I mean, it was Sam Levitt, Lane Kiffin. Whit Weeks was there. I believe Eugene Wilson, the wide receiver who LSU just landed today, was there as well. And literally like 35, 40 minutes later, you see that DeMond Williams has gone in the transfer portal, and my phone just starts blowing up with, lots of different interests there from LSU. I think that's going to be a serious option that LSU weighs. But Washington appears to be fighting back on this with everything that they've got, and they've got the backing of the Big Ten to do it as well. I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, it's so much unknown right now, but I think the one thing that I can say and kind of, do know just in terms of putting all this together is that it could very well take LSU another several days, if not weeks, to try to figure this out, to get a quarterback in here. And I just don't know how much time that they can really afford to let all this kind of play out with Washington when you still got Levitt out there. You still got DJ Lagway, who hasn't signed yet. You've got Dylan Raiola, who hasn't signed yet anywhere. Like, there's still some good quarterbacks out there. I'm just curious to see how long LSU kind of takes to really make this option viable with DeMond Williams. So it's a lot. I honestly don't know though how it's going to play out.
How do you feel about your confidence level that they're going to start addressing tight end rather quickly? It has not happened yet. Sorry, not to say tight end. I mean offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line. Yeah, that has to be a priority here too. I wrote about it this morning. They brought some guys in. I believe they brought in an offensive lineman from Minnesota yesterday. It's been a little bit more of a slow burn there. They've got to address that though very quickly, because I mean, you're seeing it right now. All these former players from LSU are certainly finding their way to a lot of SEC schools. Tyree Adams went to Texas A&M. I believe Cohen Eccles is signed with an SEC school as well. There's a lot of guys out there right now that are getting interest from SEC schools that were LSU Tigers. Kern obviously went to Ole Miss. So they've got to get rolling on that. I mean, if quarterback is your 1A position in need, offensive line is your 1B. I mean, they got to go in and get multiple starters at guard and potentially tackle as well to kind of fill this thing out. And, there's still nothing officially decided yet with Braylon Moore. I know that seems to be tracking the right way, but if something goes wrong in the 11th hour, you could be looking for a new starting center too. So there's a lot of work that they got to do to build that room up. And I haven't heard a whole ton. I don't know if you have, about just how quickly that could come to fruition.
It's just weird. It's a new era, and there are more players in the portal than ever, and LSU needs more players than they've ever needed, and it's just going to take some time to sift through it all. But I know they're working hard because there's a lot of guys that are committing. They're 10 in now of commitments, and they've got 4 of those at wide receiver. How do you feel about the way they've restocked those shelves?
Yeah, no, I mean, they've definitely done their due diligence at wide receiver. They've done a great job of bringing guys in, guys that are explosive. 3 of these 4 guys that they've got signed, averaged over 17 yards a catch last year. They're explosive. They got the deep threat vertical ability in this offense. I think Eugene Wilson's a very interesting one that they brought in today, somebody that was a former 5-star and a guy that has multiple years of SEC experience, certainly somebody that Lane Kiffin's familiar with. I love what they've done at wide receiver, and I think it is interesting and why, you have to kind of just let this whole process play out, because usually it's the other way around. Usually it's you get the quarterback so you can start signing wide receivers and start signing running backs and O-linemen. LSU's done a really nice job here of going out and getting 4 really solid wide receivers without a quarterback. And so they got to go get that done now with the quarterback, but they're off to a really nice start here, and that should make it attractive for a quarterback like a Sam Levitt or a Damon Williams. So hopefully they get something over the finish line here soon, but I just don't know how that's going to play out with the quarterback.
A couple of ads on the defensive side as well. Got a Boise State for a safety, Clemson for a defensive lineman. How much does Blake Baker need on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think you're probably looking at the edge rusher position being the one defensively that LSU really kind of hones in on. I think they're bringing in a couple of Alabama guys here over the next week or so, guys that have entered the portal here recently. But I love the additions that they've made so far. I mean, between Green, the defensive tackle from Clemson, a guy who's obviously got a lot of experience over the last 2 years. LSU faced him in the opener this past September. I think he's somebody that can certainly give you some good reps there on the defensive line. And then Benfield is the kind of the prototype. He's kind of the version of Monster Delane in my mind. A guy who I think just in reading and listening and talking to a couple of our guys who have a lot of connections with NFL scouts. Benfield's a guy that's kind of a day two kind of draft interest right now with NFL teams, and so him coming back to college for another year, you figure he comes here and he excels. You could be very much in that same boat where you're kind of playing yourself into first round draft pick consideration at this time of year a year ago and a year from now, and that was kind of the blueprint there that Monster Delane followed. And he was a day 2 guy. Came here and signed with LSU, was an elite corner for him this past season. Now he's going to be a first round pick, and he's an All-American. So that's the blueprint for a guy like Benfield. I think he's really interesting. They can play him close to the line of scrimmage or back in the deep part of the field. He's got both abilities. So they've done a really nice job defensively, and I think that is really it's important because they don't need a whole ton of depth defensively. They need guys who can come in and play right away, and I think they've found that.
Portal coverage, team coverage, you can find it all. Go 24/7. Glenn's with us most Tuesdays. Every once in a while we throw a Wednesday in like we have today. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Hunt.
We'll come back and close out the show. Ross Dillon just got a report up about LSU's offer to Brendan Sorsby. I want to mention that. Play some Take It or Leave It. We'll get out of here on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about my friends at Auctioner. Just a fantastic group there at Auctioner, and they're here to help you in this new year. It's a year that is obviously going to be started with a lot of goals, and a lot of folks start that weight loss journey at the beginning of the year and all of a sudden look up and realize that it's February and you kind of quit. So what they want you to do at Auctioner is to set manageable goals, set realistic goals, track those goals. It makes things a little bit easier and it makes things a little bit more attainable. If you just throw out something crazy that's not attainable but sounds good, you're probably not going to attain it. But if you make sure that you set steps, track yourself, set manageable goals, you'll reach them. And you can do that as you start in 2026. They've got multiple programs over there at Auctioner with weight loss help. They've got a program over there with alcohol-free for 40 days if you want to get involved in that. All of it is there at Auctioner. Appreciate them for being a part of our Monday shows. We love our conversations with the docs. We had a great conversation back on Monday with Dr. Hogan about Liz Frank injuries. It's a great resource here and great partner here of the Hunt Palmer Show. Check them all out at Auctioner.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday's show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Looking for the pool of your dreams. Want to make sure you get into that pool this pool season. January is a great time to have that conversation. Contact my guy, Joey Blanchard, 225-252-7745, or reach out directly online, builtbyrenaissance.com. They can help you with outdoor kitchens, big resort-style pools, small cocktail pools. No matter what your need is, they can help you out at Renaissance Homes and Pools. Ross Dellinger's got a fascinating piece up for Yahoo talking about how schools make these monetary figures work. Because we know that rev share is a part of the equation now, and we know that you can capitalize on that further with name, image, and likeness, but that the clearinghouse has to approve every deal over $600. So how is Texas Tech offering $5 million? Well, we know how LSU offered Brendan Sorsby $3.5 because Ross Dellinger obtained the contract, which was not signed, obviously, because Brendan Sorsby didn't come here, but the terms are available. And essentially, I'm not going to go way deep into the weeds because I think that's a little bit much, but I think I can speak to what Ross uncovered here and how LSU's operating with dollars and cents over there. So we know that LSU partnered with Playfly for its media rights. Full disclosure, when I get a check from LSU for football season, it comes from Playfly. They own the rights over there. And I work for LSU Sports Properties on the radio network. Playfly and LSU partnered in media rights. And this partnership that LSU has with Playfly includes NILSU Max, which is a self-sustaining entity that's formed through that partnership. And basically, what LSU does, it says, okay, we're going to partner with Playfly here through NILSU Max, and we will guarantee you $3.5 million in opportunities in terms of advertising, sponsorships, appearances, whatever the case may be. We'll give you $3.5 million in opportunities. That's our promise to you. And that's where that number comes from. Now, the question is, what if you can't fulfill it? What if there aren't enough opportunities for said player to come in and make that in terms of the opportunities they have? Well, at that point, the agency's got to foot the bill. They've got to start booking all these things to make sure that you can get the money and you can earn it. It's not a perfect explanation, and there's an entire department over there at LSU that is in charge of this, but this is the way that the schools are going to do this moving forward. LSU is not the only team that's partnered with Playfly, far from it. Learfield is another media company that is partnered with teams that is doing these types of things, but they help create the opportunities. And you come to LSU and you say, look, we've got this huge brand. We've got this flashy coach. You're going to throw for a lot of yards on the SEC network and on ESPN, and you're going to get a lot of eyeballs, and you're going to get a lot of Instagram followers, and you're going to be a big deal. And Playfly is going to partner you with companies that want to pay you for your name, image, and likeness. And they believe that the clearinghouse will approve all this stuff. And in Ross's piece, he writes, like, it may not happen. Like, there may be an instance where a player doesn't meet the clearinghouse's threshold of creating enough value for the money that's been sent. It hasn't happened yet, but it may happen. And that's when all hell will break loose. I don't know when that's going to happen or why it's going to happen, but Ross has a great piece up on Yahoo. You can check that out. But LSU offered Brendan Sorsby $3 million. And when you hear that number, it's in opportunities based on their partnership with Playfly to go get that money. There's revenue sharing involved as well, but there's only $20 million of that, and you got a big roster. You're paying a lot of guys a lot of money. You can't give them $3.5 million of the 18. You got to spread that around. So it's complicated. It's convoluted. It's a different world. I'll probably talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. There's just so much news today that I wanted to get to that. Maybe a little bit more on the news side tomorrow. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, let's start it off with the Baltimore Ravens. So John Harbaugh was fired yesterday, and report by Adam Schefter was that several Baltimore Ravens players reportedly had emotional reactions as Coach John Harbaugh was fired. The players were coming to his office crying, hugging him, sending him goodbyes, and calling him one by one. So was it time for the Ravens to really move off Harbaugh? Take it or leave it?
Leave it. I mean, leave it alone. He's a really good coach. I think that's proven. And I think you've got a great coach, and you're likely to do worse. As I give this example all the time. Sometimes you fire Mark Richt and get Kirby Smart.
Yep.
Most of the time, you fire that guy that's been a consistent winner, and you do worse. And the Ravens will probably do worse. However, having Lamar Jackson's a pretty good place to start, and Ozzie Newsome's great as a GM, and they usually draft really well and have a really good team. So maybe they'll do better, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, we're going to see. We got to see how that plays out. So the Chicago Cubs are close to acquiring starting pitcher Edward Cabrera in a trade with the Miami Marlins if his medical's clear, according to Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. Cabrera spent all 5 years of his MLB career with the Marlins and is coming off a breakout 2025 season where he finished with a record of 8-7 in 26 starts, posting a 3.53 ERA Cubs making good moves. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
Take it.
We got a pitcher that throws 98. Finally. Bargain basement shopping. Bunch of guys throwing 92. The Cubs love a reliever that throws 92. Drives me nuts. SEC relievers throw 95. I'm sick of pro relievers throwing 92. We got a starter that throws 97. We got 7 guys that can start games. This is what I've been looking for. However, I have not seen the trade return, so we'll see. I'll give my thoughts on that another time. Maybe here, probably not. Probably to my friends via text message. But I'm excited about it. I'm very excited.
Okay, so Ole Miss head coach Pete Golden said Wednesday morning
about Ole Miss.
that tight ends coach Joe Cox and wide receivers coach George McDonald, who will also follow Kiffin to Baton Rouge, will not follow the team despite the Rebels winning the first 2 games of the college football playoffs with them. So they're stuck on LSU. I can say stuck, but they're back with LSU, their coaching staff. So is Kiffin close to pulling the plug on this whole both coaching situation? Take it or leave it.
Take it. I mean, they've already kind of done it. And now Charlie Weiss is going to get to do it, so he's going to get to keep going. But you've already got a couple of guys back, like McDonald's not going. Kevin Smith was in flux. It depends. I think that's a today call. But like George McDonald and Cox and some of those other guys, Sawyer, and those guys are back. They're portal. They got 20 guys here that they're trying to entertain.
Yeah,
they got to get offensive linemen. They got to get people in here. So, Charlie Weiss is going to go call plays. I wish he wouldn't, but I think that's about done.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave.
All right, appreciate you for getting those in and done today. Busy day. Talked portal. Talked Washington contracts. Talked Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. You missed that segment. You can find it at Hunt on Saints. Missed the whole show. Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your sound, and then certainly all the portal talk, Hunt on LSU. Subscribe to those channels. We absolutely appreciate y'all for doing that day in and day out. Our Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We're back tomorrow talking CFP and portal. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR coming up next. Have a good Wednesday. Back tomorrow with the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
What do we got? We got One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is that website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, it doesn't always have to be a huge renovation. It can be something simple like a tub to shower conversion. If you don't use your tub. I got 2 little kids, 6 to 15 in my house. They're going in the bathtub. We use the tub. It's a mess. At times it's a disaster, but we use it and it's functional. You may not have 2 little kids splashing all over the place like I do every day at 6:15. If you don't, and you got a dingy tub, or you got a tub that you never sit in because you don't take baths, get rid of it. Put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Change the entire look of your the aesthetic of your bathroom. Change the functionality of your bathroom. David Vaughn and his team are happy to help you out with that, and it can be 3 to 5 day thing. It's not super time consuming, not super expensive. If you're worried about cost, they got financing options available. It's David Vaughn, One Bath and Closets. Find them online. OneBathAndClosets.com.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever.